Hello friends, my name is Jackie. Welcome to Super Enthused. This week I'm visiting the oldest building in Florida, the Ancient Spanish Monastery. Normally when you look up the oldest buildings and structures in Florida, they tend to be in St. Augustine, but the oldest building is right here in Miami. The construction of the monastery started in 1133 AD in northern Spain, and it was completed in 1141. Now, how did this ancient cloisters get from Spain to Florida? I'll tell ya. These cloisters and the monastery that they were attached to were inhabited by Cistercian monks for nearly 700 years. In the 1830s, after a social revolution, the monastery's cloisters were seized, sold, and turned into a granary and stable. In 1925, William Randolph Hearst, that's right, the same Hearst of Hearst Castle in California, purchased the cloisters and the monastery's outbuildings. The structures were dismantled, stone by stone, packed up in wooden crates, numbered for identification, filled with protective hay, more than 11,000 wooden crates, and shipped to the United States. When the 11,000 crates arrived in the United States, it was during the outbreak of hoof and mouth disease in Segovia, in Spain, where the crates were shipped from. The U.S. Department of Agriculture wanted nothing to do with that, so they broke open the crates and burned all the protective hay. And they quarantined the shipment. The crates sat in a Brooklyn warehouse for 26 years. Hearst died in 1952, and 1 year later, two entrepreneurs purchased the crates to be used as a tourist attraction. It took over a year and $1.5 million, the equivalent of which today would be about $13 million, to rebuild these structures, piece by piece, from 11,000 crates. In 1952, Time magazine called the rebuilding of the cloisters the world's biggest jigsaw puzzle, and I can see why. As you walk around, knowing that history, you can't help but imagine the massive undertaking it must have been to rebuild the cloisters. In 1964, the now rebuilt cloisters were put up for sale. Colonel Robert Pentland Jr., a multi-millionaire banker and well-known philanthropist, purchased the cloisters and gifted them to the Episcopal Church. Today, the Church of St. Bernard de Clairvaux is an active Episcopal church holding services on Sundays. There are also weddings and events and photography and all sorts of lovely things happening here. It's a vibrant community center. There are also some movies that have been filmed here: Ace Ventura, Rock of Ages, and more. So now that we've gotten a little bit of the history out of the way, let's go walk the grounds. We've got the cloisters, the gardens, the outbuildings, and the labyrinth. The monastery church still stands in Sacramania in the province of Segovia in northern Spain. The cloisters and refectory have been relocated here to North Miami Beach. The lobby area is full of artifacts with plaques explaining the history of each one. Saint Bernard himself, the namesake, 1090 through 1153. Here we have a knight. This is part of Hearst's collection. This is Prussian armor from the late 1600s, and it's made in the style of the Knights Templar. Hymnarium, over 800 years old. It's a collection of hymns, hand-lettered on lambskin parchment, and the ink is made from the juices of berries. All right, let's go out into the yard. There's cats everywhere. The first thing we'll do is the Labyrinth Walk. I'm reading from the brochure. The Labyrinth is a 3,500-year-old sacred walking path that is re-emerging worldwide. Unlike a maze, the Labyrinth has only one path, which meanders throughout the whole circle, leading into and back out of the center. Walking it will move you towards clarity or peace. The Labyrinth was a community effort by many faiths and is open to all to come, reflect, and find peace. There's a guide here on how to best walk a labyrinth. Walk with an open heart and an open mind. Quiet your mind and become aware of your breath. So this is a meditative act, a walking meditation, if you will. So join me. Let's go walk and meditate. The path to the labyrinth is lined with lush tropical foliage and starts out under this beautiful archway. It's very lush. Spider. So when you first come out of the first part of the walkway, it opens up to a large clearing. And there's another sign over here that says Labyrinth, so we'll go that way. There's a little lizard. Oh, there he is. Okay, we won't bother him. It's beautiful. There's a little statue of an angel, just to sort of help keep you in the meditative state of mind. It feels like a rainforest in here. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you've probably seen some of the parks that I've been to, like Pinecrest Gardens, that have areas that are designated and designed to have rainforest-like conditions. This has that similar feel. And we've reached the labyrinth. Let's walk this. Let's do this. You're meant to walk the labyrinth with an open heart and an open mind. All right, we did it. We made it to the center of the labyrinth. I've got my brochures in hand, and I'm ready to check out the rest of the grounds. How about you? Let's do it. Let's go. We are now entering the cloisters. Wow. There's a beautiful engraving on the top, lions, a bell tower up at the top, right there. Ornate archways. And here we are. Wow. So there's two directions when you first enter. A passageway to the left and straight ahead. We'll start with straight ahead. Coat of arms of St. Bernard. And here we have the coat of arms of Alfonso. And of course, the beautifully carved ceilings. Here's a bell. Let's see if we can ring it. And here's the chapel with large wooden doors, stone ceilings and archways, dark wooden pews. Here's the bowl where the holy water would be. The organist. Very simple, very medieval, very beautiful. Two round stained glass windows just behind the altar. Here we have a statue of Saint Alphonsus, the patron saint of confessors. He was canonized in 1839 by Pope Gregory XVI. Pillars with symbolic decoration. Oh, it smells like incense. Ah, here's another chapel type area, but it's just open and smells absolutely wonderful. And candles for parishioners to light. 50 cents each for a candle. I think I'll do so. I'm going to insert $1 for 2 candles. Use a stick, light it from another candle, use the flame from a lit candle to light your candles. These beautiful stained glass windows, bright colors. Ah, I found the incense cone. It smells wonderful. I absolutely love the smell of incense. I found something etched into the stone here too. I don't know if this is ancient or modern. Perhaps we can find out, or perhaps one of you know. Now we'll continue our tour down the other part of the hallway, also lined with coat of arms. Oh. Another statue of Alphonsus, but this one is headless. As often happens with ancient pieces, heads come off sometimes. Whether it was removed on purpose or just fell off and went missing with age and time, I don't know. The front gardens have a little bit of a labyrinthine area as well that you can walk through. You're crunching over those rocks. I love that sound. These flowers that attract butterflies and also bees. Oh, bees. Oh my gosh, so many bees. All over the grounds are photographers taking wedding photos, pre-wedding photos, post-wedding photos, engagement photos, special events, and wedding rehearsals. It's actually really cool because it gives it that feel of specialness. Someone's filming, singing, and there's a drone taking shots of them. So this might end up being a music video. Pretty cool. And I just met some really nice Miami photographers, so I'll be following up with you guys. As I'm kind of making my way around the grounds, you find these little nooks of stone structure. Look at this chair. This is a throne, really. Let's sit in it. Don't mind if I do. This is actually really comfortable. Whew. After all that walking around, it's pretty relaxing. The acoustics in this thing are amazing. All right, let's keep going. Just another bit of broken stone amidst the golden pothos. It grows like elephant ears out here. There are a lot of lovely little secluded areas you can find to just sort of meditate and soak it in. Fountains are scattered all over the property. And I'll tell you something, it's Miami, so it's always hot. I'm wanting to jump in that fountain right now, but I won't. Gotta respect the property. Let's go back out to the main building and look at some more artifacts. There were a few more things I wanted to look at. Golly, look at this day. There's that spider again. Walk very slowly so we don't disturb the kitties. Hi, kitty. Back to air conditioning. It's so cool and nice in here. Not just air conditioning, but fans. Beautiful day, but a hot day. This is a Crusader helmet, also called a pot helm, a bucket helm, and a barrel helm. It's used by knights and heavy infantry in most European armies about 1220 to 1540 AD. The Great Helm. You can see me down here trying to get the shot. It's what it takes. The Great Helm was a typical helmet used by Crusaders and by the Templars in particular for the whole duration of the Crusades. The pointed helm would allow direct blows to be bounced off the helmet. So these large candles that we've seen on the property are called candeleros, Gothic candlesticks, hand-wrought iron. Circa 1133, 1141 AD. Look at the feet. Fashioned to look like the webbed, clawed feet of a bird or reptile, they make the candlestick look like its own living being. Surrounding the base of the candelero are these little beasts protecting and guarding the flame. This item is one of the greatest treasures of the Ancient Spanish Monastery. It's a Renaissance chalice. Dated 1617, it's about to celebrate its 400th birthday. 4 centuries ago, a mystery craftsman fashioned nearly 1 kilogram of silver bouillon into a feasting cup for a high-ranking nobleman. Renaissance drinking cups from this period in England are rare, and only a few pieces survive. Most were melted down as fashions changed. This one most likely survived by being donated to a church and used for dispensing Eucharistic wine during the celebration of Mass. Imagine just having like your morning coffee in your Renaissance chalice. Excuse me, I'm having my morning coffee from my Renaissance chalice. Don't bother me. Some of the scenes from Ace Ventura were filmed here, and they embrace it with t-shirts, postcards with this really cool pin, a little placard here showing the scene from the film, and right behind them, medieval Spanish coins. There it is. This is right here at this very spot. These iron-bound strong boxes were used for storing valuables in the 16th and 17th centuries. What's cool about these is that the sequence has to be followed exactly in order to open the box, making it very difficult to break in. The Ortega Cabinet. This cabinet belonged to the Ortega family of Barcelona and was painted by a disciple of Raphael. The paintings are oil over copper and have never been restored. This cabinet was used to store articles of faith circa late 1500s. Spanish hearse. This horse-drawn wagon was used in the early 1600s as a hearse to take the dead from the church to cemetery for burial. And this is what it would have looked like. And look at this beast at the very front, leading the procession. Good to know. Free admission for military personnel and their families. And a very reasonable $10 for adults, $5 for children. Students and seniors, $5. We'll wait for the bells to stop. Almost there. All right, the bells have stopped chiming. Thank you guys again for joining me on this tour of the Ancient Spanish Monastery, the oldest building in Florida, housed here in North Miami. Each week, I try to bring you a special adventure, whether it's a historic location, off the beaten path place or event, or a theme park. I'm bringing you with me, and my goal is to entertain and inform. I hope you enjoyed this week's adventure. I hope to see you next week when I'll bring you another special adventure. Oh, is October coming up? I believe we have some Halloween-y goodness coming up in the next few weeks. Thanks again, I'll see you next week, and until the next adventure, stay enthused. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you turn notifications on because I do go live once in a while. Thanks again.